MULLADY, and this song's called Moving On. You won't let us forget falling on word, my friend. You used to be so in control. You blew the lid off the bucket, now we all know. Can you tell my life is moving on? Can you tell my life is moving on? Can you tell my life is, tell my life is moving on? So I could never understand why you never see the helping hand. Can you tell my life is moving on? Can you tell my life is moving on? Can you tell my life is, tell my life is moving on? It's been so long since you lost your head. That's not starting today. Can you tell my life is moving on? Can you tell my life is moving on? Can you tell my life is, tell my life is, tell my life is, tell my life is moving on? So moving on, as that was the first single. It was actually an older song. I've had it in the back burner for a long time. Moving on, and as with a lot of the songs actually, but we'll kind of talk about that in a bit, I suppose. But a lot of the songs are older songs. Certainly these first ones that are coming out, I've recorded them, and so to go for the start, basically I've always played in bands, always done all sorts of things like that, bands, and kind of gigged all over the place, recorded and stuff like that. And then about maybe 8 to 10 years ago, when I came back up for Liverpool, I wasn't really playing as much. And then I was getting fed up, I was all scun up with myself, like, I'm not enjoying this. And then I picked up the guitar and started playing in pubs and things like that, and it was just taking covers and all things. So I kind of fell into that. And it took off, it got really busy. It wasn't what I really wanted to do, but I was always in it and always involved in it. So after a while, I kind of thought, right, now's a good time to kind of get back into it. And I've always recorded and written, even through all that whole pub thing, for like that period of maybe 8 years. I've always recorded and written new songs and demoed them basically in the house. And a lot of them are really good songs, and my family and that, I've heard them, pals and that, I've heard them, and they're like, come on man, let's get these songs out, let's do it, because they need to be out. You can't just live with them on a hard drive forever. And I'm like, right, okay, aye. So probably credited to my father, to be honest. Kind of he persevered, pestering me for all these years, and he's like, right, come on, let's go. So eventually got them all re-recorded. Lockdown was a perfect time to do it. Re-recorded them all, and now we're coming out the other end of it. We're getting to the, live music's back, all that kind of stuff. So it seemed like a great time to kind of go for it. So that's what we did. And Moving On was almost a fitting one to start with. Just the title and kind of the material of the song almost there, and it's, you know, moving on for one thing or another into a new phase or a new period of life and new kind of adventures almost. So it was a great, you know, it was a great start, a great first tune. Plus it's pretty, it kind of covers the whole sound. You know what I mean? It's quite representative of what the sound and all the rest of it is. So it's a good one to kind of lead the way. So the whole Liverpool period was a blur in the end. But so in 2009 it would have been, I moved to Liverpool with a pal of mine who is Christy, who's playing drums for this project as well. The 2 years moved into Liverpool to go to uni, actually, and I think I managed about 6 months of uni before I was kind of told not to come back and all the rest of it. But anyway, I stayed there for a while, and we started a band down there. We met Nick and Carol, as it turned out, and then he was playing bass. He vanished off the face of the earth, so then we ended up with Joe. Joe came on board and kind of played, and then Sam laterally. But the band was called Built on Tradition. We all kind of met down there, and we just started the way all bands do. You know, you start and then you're like, well, what will we play? And it turns out we were all into the same kind of music. We all loved, like, at that point I was going through a right Oasis phase and that kind of Britpop stuff and that. And then when you move to Liverpool, inevitably the Beatles phase comes and all that kind of stuff, and Stone Roses, all that. So we just started jamming a lot of that, and things just grew for there. You know, Nick comes in, he was a great songwriter, brilliant lyricist, and so he would come in with ideas and songs and go, what about this? And then we'd all work it out as a band and be like, that's quality. And then started gigging with it, the material. And the first gig, I'm sure the first gig we played was at Carova in Liverpool, which incidentally burnt down 2 days later after we done it. So there was above Carova, apparently there was a lawyer's office, and the lawyer's office, you know, suspiciously caught fire. But it ruined Carova, which was a shame because it was a great venue. And the guy, Tyler, who was the promoter for that gig, we basically walked in and said to the barman, he's like, who books the gigs for you? And he says, that guy there. I just walked over with a CD, I was like, there you go. Can we get a gig? Aye, no bother, aye. Here you go, 2 months' time or something like that. So basically Scotland came down on buses and invaded Liverpool for the night. It was brilliant. And so we did loads of stuff down there. The Pop Overthrow Festival at the Cavern was a highlight every year. It was just, they basically just took over the Cavern for a week and they played 2 sets, and the crowd was awesome, the sound was brilliant, you know, just the whole gig, the whole atmosphere was just amazing. So just kind of travelling round about and touring loads of wee different places, and up to Scotland, down to England, and it was just constant. It was great. It's a great band to be involved in. And I still kind of try and adopt a lot of that approach to the way we did things back then. I learned a lot from it, you know, in terms of how to better maybe promote things or how to go about things in maybe a smarter way. Because, I mean, we were 18-year-old trying to make music and make bands and make records and put them out and gig, and we wanted the world, eh? But when you're living on a diet of 19 pence noodles for Lidl's and a bottle of juice, it's quite hard to do, eh? But so I've learned a lot, and I'm kind of trying to adopt that now and trying to, in the way we're going forward. But the whole gigging experience, that kind of shaped, you know, the way I like to do things, and especially the live performances, because the live gigs were always loud and, you know, full of energy. I've never ever played with a drummer that hits the drum kit as loud as Christy does, and they actually took his mic off his snare drum when we played at Zanzibar in Liverpool, because he's like, that's far too loud. He jokingly said to the sound guy, you'll not need that. The guy's like, but I'm the sound guy, we'll try it. I'm like, right, okay, fine, fair enough. First song, just take it off, mate. It's ridiculous. So that whole energy thing started down there, and it's just, I've taken all that kind of learning with me, and that's the way we're trying to go forward now. And it's great to have Christy on board playing the drums and Liam on the bass as well, and live, it sounds great having the guys there, so really looking forward to that kind of stuff. Between playing this, which is kind of stripped back, and playing live, like with a full band, it's two different things for me. I think playing like this in a sort of stripped back, it focuses on the song more, and I think it's an interesting way of doing things, because you've got to then strip back all the bells and whistles, you know what I mean? You've not got the lights and the smoke and I can't jump off an amp into a speaker and jump into the crowd and things like that. So you can't do that, and it focuses all the attention on the song and your performance thereof it. So it's a different aspect to it, but both are great. I enjoy doing both. You know, but the live thing, to play it with a full band and the volume and the whole sound of it, I'm heavy influenced by excuse me, by like the likes of Stereophonics and Foo Fighters. And funny, when we were putting the band together, myself, Liam playing the bass and Christy playing the drums, we were kind of all chatting about it, and because I've got like 20 guitar tracks on the recorded versions, because I mean, why not? Yeah, it sounds massive, but it's really difficult to play, and it is a 3-piece. So we initially thought, right, what we're going to do is we'll get the core of the band, and then we'll maybe add in a keys player, or we'll maybe add in another guitar player or whatever as we go along. So that was the plan, and then the first night that we all played together in that room, we were like, this is going to sound mega. Let's just keep it to 3 years, eh? And then that got cemented when I went to see the Phonics back in March in Glasgow, and I put the Performance and Cocktails album on in the car on the way through, and I was like, they were a 3-piece when they did that. And Word Gets Around as well, that album, they were a 3-piece when we did that. And my dad still maintains that the loudest noise he's ever heard 3 people make was Stereophonics at the Motherwell Civic Centre, which ironically I found a ticket for last night and sent it to him. But so I thought, we can make this happen with a 3-piece. So we've went for that, and you know, that's just going to be the sound going forward. But I suppose to answer the question, they're both, between playing like that and playing stripped down like in a session like this, they're both two sides to the same coin, I suppose.
How many nights has it been since I've been home? I go around the bars for answers. I don't believe what I've been told. The only time I ever listen to you is when I'm on my own. I play down the fears that I've been haunted by, just like I've been shown. And how long can we carry on? We fall out just for fun. How do we get so blind? I need you to set me free. And one more drunk night on the town. I can't believe that I'm here. I never thought I would. I need to leave in the morning. How long can we carry on? We fall out just for fun. I never thought I'd find, I never thought you'd see. How do we get so blind? I need you to set me free. Now I'm alright, I will be fine. I'm learning all that I need to. blind. I need you to set me free.
Honestly, if you ever get the chance to see Muse live, do it. You will not be disappointed. It's still, I saved one of my mates. We were at Tea in the Park, and I'm sure Muse played on the Friday night, I think, and it was either Eminem or the Black Eyed Peas that were on the NME stage the same year, and I bumped into my mate. And the reason I remember it is because he had, you know, that hockey mask Eminem used to wear, or that was associated with him. So he had that on, just wandering about. And I bumped into him in the toilet, and I says, "Where are you going?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm going to see Eminem or the Black Eyed Peas, whatever one it was." I'm like, "Are you kidding me on? Muse are about to come on in 2 minutes." Aye, well, I don't know. Right, come on. So I just basically kidnapped him and took him to Muse afterwards, and he still thanks me to this day. So, Jamie, if you're listening, you're welcome. In fact, we saw them, one of the best live sounds I've ever heard. And them and the Foo Fighters as well. You can never, Dave Grohl, what a legend. You see them, and you're just, I can't take my eyes off him. You know, you never know what he's going to do next, which makes things exciting. I mean, we've all seen live bands where you go and it's like, they stand there and they play like this. That bores the life out of me. You know what I mean? The sound might be great, but if you just start, it's not exciting, you know. Especially when you see guys like Dave Grohl, he's everywhere. You're like, this is great, I love this. There was a great band for Liverpool called Sound the Guns that did something like that as well. Their singer Andy they toured a lot with The View for a while. And brilliant band. But he was brilliant to watch, because you never knew what he was going to do. And he was all climbing speakers and jumping onto balconies, and he's in the crowd, and what a live performance. And that's what it was. It was a performance, you know, it's part of the show, and it was insane. So if we can replicate even half as well, like our live show as well as what they do, we'll be off to the races, I think. So Little Changes was the latest single that came out on the 13th of May, which I kept telling everybody, like in the run up to that. I couldn't get May in my head. It was March, I kept saying 13th of March, and they're like, oh, that's a long way to wait. So it was out on the 13th of May, and that one was, you know, you hear kind of songwriters and folk like that talking about the quick songs, the ones that take like an hour to write. And that was one of them. But it basically stemmed from a conversation I had with somebody who I knew a long while ago. And everybody, growing up, there's always people who kind of start going down the wrong road, and we all know somebody that's like that, and he went away doing that way, and I never saw him for years, and then I bumped into him again years later, and I almost never recognised him. He looked that good, and I was like, no way, how are you getting on? And so we're blather and kind of catching up, and I says, what happened then? You know, because at one point it was pretty grim, and he's like, I just kept making, wee little changes to everything that I did, and that kind of inspired me, and I was like, right, so you can, just wee steps. And the more I thought about it, the more I thought, that's kind of relevant to not just his situation, but everybody's situation, Whether it's you want to try and recover for something, maybe going down the wrong road, or you've got problems, or you just want to achieve something, but it doesn't matter what it is, that you didn't just get there like that. It doesn't happen. So you need to make wee steps to get there and change things kind of along the way. And it made me kind of look back and think about all the, just the wee little things that have changed, or like along in my own life, I suppose, but in the lives of my pals and of other people I know. And so kind of just trying to capture that whole idea that it doesn't matter where you find yourself or what state you find yourself in at any point. You can make the change you want, just one wee kind of little change at a time. And that was the whole thread behind the song. And so I put it out, and the reception was incredible. Like the reception's been unbelievable for it, and the video was shot by Stuart Alexander. He's done loads of stuff for loads of different bands. Insanely talented video director and producer, and he was awesome, eh? So he got involved. He kind of, we worked it all out, and we're like, right, this is kind of, we spoke about the ideas behind the songs and all that, and so we made it happen and shot the video. The video looks insane. So when that came out, the reception for the video was brilliant as well, and which has really helped as well. The whole experience of that song in particular. First one was, Moving On was the big one. That was kind of first one I'd done in a long time, and everybody kind of jumped on that one as a new one. But then this one, I don't know if it's the story behind it or what, but it seems to have resonated with people quite well, and as much as it's gained, people seem to take more from it, maybe identify with it a wee bit more, I don't know, but it was put to me a wee while back when I was doing, who was it with now? I can't remember, but I was doing talking to somebody about it all, and they were talking about songs, and what are songs about, and all that kind of stuff, and they said once you've written and recorded, and it's your song, but then once you release it, the song then isn't yours anymore. It's whoever's listening to it. Because I'll play a song, say I'll play one of the songs like we've done earlier. I'll play the song, and it'll mean something different to you. You'll have a different image. Like every song, I always think, even when it's covers I'm playing, I've got a wee film going on in my head that I can see, and it's writing about that kind of scene that I can see. And even if it's a song that's a memory or something like that, it'll take you back to a place. The music's brilliant that way. You'll hear an old song you've not heard for ages, and you'll remember exactly where you were when you did that. So music's very individual and kind of subjective that way. So once you put it out, it's then irrelevant almost what it means to me. It's kind of, it's what it then means to you. And this one seems to have resonated that way with a lot of people. People have kind of taken it on board, and they've got their own stories about it, and that's great. That's almost the ultimate compliment for a musician, that somebody can take your song and kind of take it to heart, and then they associate times in their life with it, and that's a huge compliment. And the feedback I've got for everybody's just been incredible, and I always like to say that things like that are the reason why I like to do it, and other than the fact I've got to, because it gets loud in my head a lot of the times with songs banging about, and you need to get them out. To have that, to be able to share that with somebody else is amazing, and it's something that wouldn't be possible without people, fans, friends, family, whatever you want to call them. Without people listening to it and getting involved with the whole thing, and that's the reason why just about everybody I know does it. But to have that response from people is just amazing. So there's more songs, as we kind of spoke about earlier. I've got that. There's loads of them in the pipeline, so to speak, and it's songs that I've had for years. But the interesting thing actually is when I've been re-recording them, the songs have been, the songs have been the songs still, but it's inspired like writing more. So when I first started the whole project, I took an old hard drive that had about 60 songs on it, and I whittled it down to 15 or 17 or something that I was happy to re-record, and I re-recorded all them. So there's them that are in the pipeline ready to come out. But the interesting thing that's happened is, since that, there seems to be a song every, there's a lot of new songs have come out as well. And some of them I'm writing them and going, I've kind of got this plan that I'm going to record, like release all these songs, and this is how it's going to go. And then these songs come along, I'm like, I want to put that out next. So there's loads. There's new releases coming, so there's loads for this year, for next year, and for the foreseeable. There's loads of them to go. As far as the live side of things, we've got a gig in August at Nice and Sleazy's, supporting Postle Moore, that'll be a great gig. Sleazy's a great venue. We'll play that. We've got Vibration Festival, and we've got a kind of hometown, which I've been calling a sort of hometown gig. It's kind of where it all started for local bands in our area, and as much as the Oakwood Hall is where we used to put on gigs when we came up for Built on Tradition, came up for Liverpool and stuff like that, and there's lots of great local bands, and we used to put on these gigs, and the place was stowed out, you couldn't move, and it was brilliant. The atmosphere was great, and the whole scene was brilliant because there was loads of bands, and it was giving them somewhere to play, and us somewhere to play as well, which was even better. But that seems to have died off, in the years since we did that, and I was kind of talking about it with a few different guys, and so we've got on the bill that night. That's on the 12th of November. 12th of November? Aye, 12th of November, I'm sure. And so we've got our band playing, and we've also got support for two brilliant local bands, and Tonto and Delta Manic are playing that night. So there's 3 bands on the bill, but it's all local way. It's all like back to the way we used to do it almost. Put the tickets out, like the pre-sale tickets went on sale on like the Wednesday at 10 o'clock, and I got a text from my mate at 12:30, like, I can't get a ticket. Well, sorry, but that's what it is. Well, the rest are going out on, I said to him, the rest will go out on Friday, so jump on it. So we're now at the point where I put a post up the other day saying we've got 20 tickets left, and half of them are gone, so I think we're into single figures now. And by the time this goes out, I'm sure we'll definitely be in single figures, and it's going to be an insane night, so that's kind of what we've got in the pipeline. There's a few more things we're working away on in the background as well, but yeah, if you keep an eye on the social media channels, then Instagram and Facebook and Twitter, things like that, information about all that kind of stuff will come out as and when we've got it. But it's an exciting year, eh? It's kind of starting to, the wheels are in motion, and it's starting to gather a bit of momentum, which is pretty cool. So long may that continue.
Monday morning rain is here again. The same old feeling we both know. And I've got nothing more to say to you. Just scattered egos on the floor. We were the weekend heroes. We're out of our minds. You know how the small town story goes. Little changes take control. And I know that every story that will pass to those who last. Now that we're all growing apart, my friend, we'll follow life down different roads. And all these times will fade to memories. Just one last drink before I go. We were the weekend heroes. You know how the small town story goes. Little changes take control. And I know that every story that will pass to those, it doesn't seem that long ago. Now you've just don't look back. Little changes